There's one thing that I find quite dangerous in the queer community is when we try to use our past to justify our sexual orientation. I think it's dangerous because like you could take like similar people, like straight people with the same family setting, and they would still be straight, you know. It's not because like you had something in your past, I feel, that you become gay or you become like bisexual or stuff like that. um I do think it dictates a bit like desires at some point, or relationship, like the relationship you have with love and with other people. um but then as sexual orientation in the sense of like the pattern of people you like to sleep with, I don't necessarily buy into that, but that's just like my personal opinion. um so very early I knew that I was attracted by men, ever since I could remember. But at the time, I thought that I was in love with girls, but it was not sexual attraction. I'd say it was more like, whoa, like I'm amazed by you. Like I think I love you, and I still have that. Like I have like female icons that I adore, you know, and that I can really identify with. Um, and all the girls that I loved, I think I wanted to be them somehow. Um, but as for sex, it's always been men somehow. And well, of course, I came like from a very traditional Albanian family. Um, so being gay was just like not. It was like a Western disease, you know, that doesn't happen to Albanians, or it happens, but that's because like the devil got into your soul. And then, like, I was okay with the fact that I was gay. The only thing that I was worried about was my relationship with my parents, and I tried to find a lot of ways to maintain that, because when I discovered it, it was like, I don't know, I was 8, 9. So at that point, you feel like if your parents leave you alone, then you'll die, which is most
Yeah.
likely true if you're a child. But that thought like remained until like early adulthood, and then I really started having sex regularly when I was 17. And I think knowing that I was gay and not telling my parents, it really felt like I was hiding something from them, so they did not know me. So eventually, like when I became a teenager, I didn't have anything to share with them because I knew that all the projections they had about me would be false at some point. At like 17, no, even before, I started like putting some distance with my parents, and I loved my mother before. I didn't like my dad at all. But yeah, the thing I was the most scared of was to lose my mom. So I think in like I anticipated the fact that she would not react well to my coming out. So years before I started detaching myself from her. I can't remember though it was if it was like conscious or not. And then I told her that I was gay, which was like a big drama. My father, I haven't seen him ever since. It's been 5 years. The relationship with my mom just got better in the last month, let's say. And I think I was 23 when I came out. Yeah, so it pretty much happened the way I expected. Like several years without my mom nowhere, like without my mom wanting to talk to me, or even like she wanted to get me to an imam so I could get like exercise or stuff like that. Since they're Muslims, and my father, I knew he would not talk to me because like honor is like a big thing. And then like since October, I really started assuming my trans non-binary identity, and I was like, fuck, now I have to come out regarding this as well, you know, to my parents. And my mom came here like a month ago, and I was just like, I had makeup on from the night before, I had like my nails done, and I just put like the first thing, which happened to be a dress. And she like didn't give a fuck at all. Like that was really good. I think she had reflected a lot on my whole past, and she realized that from the very beginning I like to be dressed as a girl, and just
Mm.
like I have so many pictures of me like belly dancing with like skirts and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and it's weird because when I dressed up as a child, my whole family was loving it. Like, oh my god, like Hasmi's gonna put up a show now and blah blah. And I have so many pictures, so many videos of that. It's like it was really like Everyone loved it. But then when I started doing that when I was a teenager, like my mom would always like insult me for wearing some things. Yeah, then it really became a problem because I became like a sexual being, I think. I did dragging as well, and I didn't like it. And I was like, why don't I like it? I love dressing, like as a woman, let's say. I love putting makeup on, but why do I hate dragging? And it's just because like if you drag, you have to put makeup in a certain way. Then your performance is about like the DJ stopping the music, playing your track for 3 minutes, and you have to do it like a performance, blah blah, which is rehearsed and scripted. And I was like, no, I don't like this. And at play parties, when I just like do performances or when it's about like trying to turn people on, like I love it. And I would have the same outfit as if I would drag, you know. It's just like the way you perceive it as well. It's so you may just try like the same activity, like but in different settings and with different like perceptions of it. And actually that worked for me. So my PhD was really good, a good decision. And I was like openly queer to everyone at work, and everyone was just like super excited to hear about what I did during my weekends. Or it was really really cute. Um, I was like going with dresses to teach, or like I didn't care. I really didn't care. Well, some students made a lot of bad comments, but I didn't care. See, like I didn't change my way of dressing in the past 10 years, I'd say. But what really changed though is so I started drugs last summer, and every time I took some drugs, like since I was scared of my past and looking back into the past that I hated so much, like my brain was blocking all these like memories from the past. And when I was taking drugs, like all these memories came back. It was weed, ecstasy, MDMA, stuff like that. Yeah. So there are two things that help. First, the drugs letting me think about my past, but since you're taking ecstasy, you feel good anyway somehow. Yeah. So it's not like those memories, like you still feel good, even if you think about them and there's something that you didn't like. When I was at the Porn Film Festival in Berlin for 6 days in October, we took like for 6 days ecstasy, which is just way too fucking much. And one night we were at the Kit Kat. It was a gay night, and I was just dancing with a friend, and I was asking her like, "Can you tell me why there are all these gay men and I don't feel comfortable here, and I feel more comfortable like in straight clubs?" And she was like, "Probably because you're not gay. You're not part of them." And then it was like, boom, yes. And I asked her like to grab a piece of paper and so that I could write. And then I wrote like all the things that were wrong in my past and in my life. And I stopped and I wrote like, Hasby, you're either like an intersex person or trans. And from that day on, I haven't changed, as I said, like my way of dressing, but the way I perceive the way I dress is not like before, oh, I have to hide this monster. It's more like, oh, like show the beauty, you know, inside of you and try to be sexy and stuff like that. And it's the first time that I'm conscious of my body. All of a sudden, like before I came out, I had the best year in my life. It was like a blast, like everything was so perfect, life was beautiful. And then I came out, and what that had as an impact, it was more my relationship with people that got screwed, like really hardcore. I always feared that when, like, just like my parents, they loved me. I was like their best thing, their hope, their everything. And just because I gave that tiny additional piece of information that I'm gay, they rejected me. So in my relationships with guys, it was like, oh, but if I start becoming intimate and tell them who I am, they will just reject me. So I was always like, fuck, I'm gonna be alone. I don't have my parents. My friends don't stay forever. They're gonna go. So I was always like super anxious. I had like panic attacks all the time, and I was always like scared that I would be alone somehow. That emotionally, I was not able to love more than one person at a time, I think. I don't know, I think I considered my boyfriends as like saviors, you know, or just because like I had that feeling of always being alone or stuff like that. I really needed them, and I don't think I could have had like two people who could have the same roles. And today I read like a really interesting opinion about abortion. Like we always place the burden on women, but women can give birth only like 2 or 3 days a month when they're like at their peak of fertility, whereas men can give birth to like tens of women in a day, and they don't have to go through menopause, so they can give birth until they die, you know. So why put the burden on some people who wouldn't be able to give birth that often, but not put it on the people who would be able to give birth all the time? And just like with contraception pills, like there are pills for men, but no one talks about. They did not before. They ruled it out. It was discovered like 40 or 50 years ago, but they identified a lot of side effects, but still 3 times less side effects than women. But since men were in charge of science before, they were like, no, no. I don't know if any pharmaceutical industries produce it anymore, but the knowledge is there. Like we could like do it today. Probably there are some, and it works just as well as for women, theoretically. There's also this false myth that's been debunked like last year, I think. So far, what the story we hear all the time as children is like the spermatozoids, like they travel, and it's the faster one who makes it to birth. But apparently, it's the egg, the woman egg, that attracts them. So the egg decides which one to, yeah, and it's not the other way around. So then again, science made by man saying like, oh yeah, men's sperm like this, yeah, who wins the race. And actually, it's not who wins the race, it's who the egg chooses. Yeah, I'm really starting to hate man. With all the privileges that you have, you still manage to be more stupid and more, like, I don't know, lazy than women. It's incredible.